protests that were going on downtown. It was amazing to watch the turnout and peaceful protests and the unified voice that was here.
Shortly after a video of Stephen Curry openly supporting an anti-ICE protest went viral, it ignited a fierce debate across the country. Supporters praised the NBA superstar for showing empathy and acknowledging the pain of affected communities. Critics, however, accused him of politicizing sports and stepping outside his role as an athlete. As the controversy grew, rumors began spreading online claiming that Curry had allegedly been arrested at another protest. The story moved fast, emotions ran high, and facts became blurred. How did Curry go from praising a protest to being linked with an arrest? And what really happened behind the headlines? To understand the full picture, we need to break down everything step by step. What Stephen Curry actually said. Stephen Curry spoke to the media on January 25, 2026, after the Golden State Warriors defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 111-85. The game had been rescheduled from the previous night, and Curry finished with 26 points. But despite the decisive win, the focus of the press conference had little to do with basketball. For several minutes, Curry addressed what he had witnessed during his time in Minneapolis. He explained that he arrived in the city 2 days earlier and immediately felt a heavy sense of tension. He said he closely followed news coverage and spent hours watching events unfold on television as protests spread through the city. Curry revealed that he had also observed the demonstrations directly from his hotel room. From his window, he recorded video of protesters marching through downtown Minneapolis. He described seeing large crowds continuing to protest despite extreme weather conditions, with temperatures dropping to nearly -10 degrees Fahrenheit.
So I know there's a lot of heavy hearts and a lot of things, especially this Minneapolis community. Yesterday was rough. It's been rough, I know, out here, and you can kind of feel it when we got here, 2 days ago. Protests that were going on downtown. It was amazing to watch the turnout, peaceful protests, and the unified voice that was here. And you feel like that would kind of turn the tide, to a more positive direction. And you wake up in the morning and you see what happened.
He then spoke about the game postponement. The NBA canceled the January 24th matchup roughly 3 hours before tip-off, following the fatal shooting of a man named Alex Pretty by federal agents earlier that morning. The incident occurred less than 2 miles from Target Center and significantly escalated tensions across the city.
Moses mentioned being in his room and physically seeing the protests go through downtown.
I got videos on my phone of it all the way down. It was like 3 straight hours in -10-degree weather. It was beautiful to see that turnout, and that speaks to how important people felt to have their voice heard. And those elements and whatever streets right outside our hotel, they were out, and it was amazing to watch.
The most controversial moment of Curry's comments came when he described the protests as beautiful. He clarified that he was referring to the turnout and determination of the protesters, not the violence that led to the demonstrations. Curry emphasized that what he witnessed was largely peaceful and described it as a unified voice of people standing together despite harsh conditions. With the game postponed, Curry said he spent the day educating himself on the situation. He followed updates closely and tried to understand the broader context surrounding the unrest. The crisis in Minneapolis, 2 fatal shootings. The protests Stephen Curry saw from his hotel window were driven by weeks of mounting tension in Minneapolis after 2 fatal shootings by federal immigration officers. The Operation Metro Surge deployment in December 2025 sent thousands of ICE and Border Patrol agents into the city as part of an intensified immigration enforcement effort. This sparked widespread resistance from local residents as raids increased and arrests topped thousands. On January 7, 2026, Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old Minneapolis resident, was shot and killed by an ICE agent during an enforcement action, prompting early protests. Then on January 24th, 37-year-old ICU nurse Alex Pretty was fatally shot by federal agents while filming an operation near downtown. Video evidence indicated he was holding only a phone and attempting to assist a pepper-sprayed woman before being tackled and shot while on the ground. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara publicly questioned the federal narrative, noting Pretty appeared to be exercising constitutional rights. Pretty's death galvanized protests into a citywide crisis, with tens of thousands demonstrating despite freezing conditions.
It doesn't look safe for anyone involved.
From what you saw in that video, was he brandishing a gun, and did he appear to be a domestic terrorist?
There's nothing in any of the evidence to suggest that. These things are concerning because we know people have a First Amendment right to record the police. You also have a Second Amendment right in this country to carry a handgun in a public space. That's also what this person did. So these are literally constitutional rights that people have in this country.
This was the Minneapolis Stephen Curry arrived in, and the context behind his comments. The postponed game and the atmosphere inside Target Center. The Golden State Warriors were set to play the Minnesota Timberwolves at Target Center on January 24, 2026, but the game was postponed just 3 hours before tip-off. The decision came after Alex Preddy was fatally shot earlier that morning, less than 2 miles from the arena. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver emphasized public safety, and the Timberwolves fully supported the move. Coach Chris Finch noted that playing that night didn't feel like the right thing to do, given the emotional weight the city was carrying. The game was rescheduled for January 25th, creating a back-to-back scenario for both teams. Protests continued outside the arena with demonstrators marching through downtown Minneapolis in sub-zero temperatures. Inside, tension was palpable. Fans held signs like "Ice Out Now" and "Abolish ICE." A moment of silence for Preddy was observed, followed by chants of "F ICE" from some sections of the crowd. The broader fallout and political response. The crisis in Minneapolis quickly became a national flashpoint, prompting reactions from politicians, public figures, and communities across the United States. The fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by federal immigration agents, one of 2 Americans killed during an aggressive ICE and Border Patrol deployment under Operation Metro Surge, sparked widespread outrage and debate over federal authority and immigration enforcement tactics. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz condemned the operation as overly aggressive, activated the National Guard, and demanded transparency in investigations, though his comparison of ICE to historical abuses drew criticism. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey also blasted federal agents and called for their removal, a message amplified by celebrities online. President Trump initially defended federal actions, but later held calls with Walz and Frey focused on de-escalation. A key development was the reassignment of Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino, a focal figure in the controversy, and the appointment of Border Czar Tom Homan to coordinate efforts. Protests have spread beyond Minneapolis to cities like New York and Los Angeles, and federal directives have been issued to avoid engaging in demonstrations unless requested.
Is the state somewhere you would consider living in the
Absolutely
future?
not. I'm Canadian, by the way. I have no interest in ever going anywhere near that place anytime soon.
Never. No chance.
Don't think I will be.
Not with the current administration, no.
No, I don't have any plans of going back anytime soon.
I would not set a single foot in the US right now, or probably ever again, if I'm honest with you.
Celebrities and public figures weighed in, from Hollywood actors to former President Barack Obama, who called Preddy's death a heartbreaking tragedy. As investigations continue, legal experts note that qualified immunity may complicate accountability, a question Preddy's family may soon test in court. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.